thought I told you on Discord. How do I get up there? Oh, hold on. Not like that, apparently. I see. So I slept until like, I think 2 or 3 p.m., which still has messed up my sleep schedule. And then I just kind of hung out in the practice and casual room for a while, and then we went to get food at a bar, like a pub. And it was pretty good there. I had some money to spend. Oh shit. So like every meal I had was, I spent a decent amount of money at. So I had beer like every day, and every time I drink a little bit, I get a little inappropriate, more so than I already am. Fuck. Okay, I know it. And like, there was lots of dick jokes coming from me. So I hung out with Green Z Saber a lot. He's a super cool guy, and he's pretty much 35 minutes from where I used to live in Florida. Like last night we hung out for like hours in his room watching the Earthbound stream. Earthbound run. Was it smelly? No, not really. If anything, I probably smelled. Because it was freaking humid in Minnesota. Freaking gross. Ah, fuck. Like the third night I just felt gross. I was getting really stressed out and anxious. And that like makes my body overheat. Fuck that one. What else happened the first night? I think I just kind of hung out again. The second night was Crack Attack's birthday, and he wanted to see boobs, so we went to a strip club, and that was fun. I didn't have any money. I had enough money to buy his cover and to buy a single beer, and one beer was like $10. And then Crack got me another beer, but he didn't get me a beer until I came back from his lap dance. It was like a private lap dance. And some other stuff happened during that private lap dance that was fairly inappropriate. But yeah, I was messing with the strippers a lot. Because they keep coming up to you, and it's obviously they're like really into money. And like, they kept asking me if I wanted company, and I was like, no. Like 10 girls came up to me. Like, was it not obvious when I said no to the other people, like right away, and they walked away? Because all they wanted was money. And some of them said really weird things to me, like, this one really skinny black girl came up to me and said, would you like to see my chocolate chips? And I was like, what the fuck? Probably they wanted more than money. They weren't making any money dancing. And so Crack Attack got a hand job, and he says it on Twitter, so I'm not really afraid to be private about it. And while I was waiting for like 45 minutes, I was really bored. Like all these women coming up to me, freaking asking me if I want to see their chocolate chips. And I was like, no. This one girl wouldn't leave me alone at the end, right? When Crack Attack came back, there was a couple of girls that came up to us. And like, the Asian girl was like, she went away because I guess she kind of knew we didn't have money at that point when we weren't giving them any money. But this one girl was like, really like, I don't know, maybe drunk. And she wouldn't leave me alone. And I tried to make it clear that I wasn't gonna give her any money. And she still wouldn't go away. And she's like, you don't need a lot of money to have fun. And I was like, oh my god. And I was on beer 2, so beer 2 is enough to make me say really inappropriate things. And I wanted to see how far I could push it, like what I could say. And I was like, so how far could we go? Like, what are our boundaries? What are our limitations here? And she's like, well, anything's possible with the right amount of money and the right amount of foreplay. And I was like, oh my god. So I was like, so how do you feel about piss and shit? Like, she's like, for the right amount of money. I'm like, oh my god. She just kept smiling at me, and I felt kind of weirded out. But it was funny at the same time. She was like, by the way, I'm an art student, but I don't want to talk about it. So I was like, so let's talk about you being an art student. I was like, do you finger paint? I was like, do you paint with your tits? I was like, what if you took a shit and then painted with your shit? And then after that I was like, what if you like were on your period and put the canvas on the floor and painted with your period? She was like giggling and saying, oh, I think that's so 70s. Crack Attack was just like loving it. He's like, the fuck? What else did I say to her? There was a lot that I said to her. And like, she talked to us for a while and she didn't get any money from us. Like, we were there until last call. And she's like, come on, let's have fun. I was like, I don't have any money. She's like, well, come back tomorrow with money. And I didn't come back tomorrow. Crack Attack said he wasn't going to come back, and then he fucking did. And it was funny because the next day I went to a restaurant like near there, and I was having a conversation with the server, and she's like, you know, we have free like cards for free cover there. And Crack Attack like went back, and I would have gone back with him because I had 2 cards for free cover. No, she didn't get mad at the end. She was just like, come back tomorrow and like bring your friend and we can get 2 girls and we can have real fun. I was like, fuck man, this girl's messed up. E-Bloody Candy was my hotel roommate, and I was talking to him about it after. He's like, yeah, they're all college students trying to make money for college. So she probably was legit an art student. She didn't get mad, but like the Asian girl I think got mad. Oh, and like when we got there was a blonde girl that was really skinny that asked us what we were doing there, and we said video games, and she's like, oh my god, I love Crash Bandicoot, and she was talking about video games for a while. And Crack Attack thought it was awesome because he was like, yeah, I was just like staring at her tits, and then he's like, I got bored because she was really annoying because she was loud as fuck, and I'm deaf and I could hear her. I'm partially deaf. But yeah, the girl that Crack Attack got a lap dance from, her name was Malaysia, and she was Cambodian. But apparently it was fine because she had tits and ass. But yeah, I don't know. Like, when Crack Attack was getting his lap dance, I was watching the stage, Well, I was like kind of like really uncomfortable. I was like really uncomfortable until I got my beer, and then I started feeling comfortable. I was watching the stage, and they weren't making any money dancing, so they had to make money like other ways. But yeah, like Crack Attack found it amusing that I was fucking with them hardcore. I don't know how to get past. Oh, probably because I go down. That's pretty much the second day of SGDQ. Oh, I also remember that I got back and I was fairly buzzed, and I wanted food because I had only eaten once that day, and I went, and it was like 2:30 a.m. when I got back to the hotel, and I really wanted pizza because that was the only thing available really, and Domino's was open till 3 a.m. and it was 2:30. I called them and they're like, "We're not doing deliveries anymore," and I just hung up the phone on them. I was kind of annoyed. So I didn't eat that night, and then I end up only eating once a day from there on because I wasn't really moving or doing much. Well, I saved a little bit on money. I ended up spending like $35 every meal because I ordered a shit ton of food. And I went to Walgreens and got like $25 in chocolate, but I only ate one bag. I'm hungry again. I just ate breakfast burritos. But yeah, there were some girls who would come up and I would say I don't have money, and they would literally like walk away really quick. Like some girls were like, you don't need much money to have fun, and then there was like, the girls were like, well, this guy has no money, so fuck him. So I was like, okay, I don't care. But fruit salad. I really want that game cartridge. But I've been making killer breakfast burritos. Like, they're so good. My potato of... Oh, fuck. My potato of choice is mashed potatoes in my breakfast burritos, and it's just so good. I don't know what to eat though. I still have like 5 Milano cookies left from SGDQ. Oh, so the reason the hotel sucked was like people like to drink at SGDQ, and they act like the party and be extremely loud. And they, ooh, I get to keep it. And, they put a lot of families on the same floors. And, like, the AGDQ hotel is usually the same every year. And the SGDQ, I think they just keep trying to find one that's accommodating. And, the hotel didn't care for, the loudness, so... Every room got noise complaints. I think even my room got a noise complaint. One room got a noise complaint for just having a conversation, like a normal conversation. But, yeah, I like to sleep in the hotel room, so that's why I room with EBC, because that's what he does. He just sleeps.